Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Coaching Andres, and thank you for tuning in today, ladies. We're going to talk about a very specific topic that goes from usually around the beginning of stages of the dating world into the middle and towards the end of a long-term relationship. But before we get started, I would love to understand and explain that what we're talking about in the relationship world, in the dating world, which is very emotional. It could be very dramatic. It can be very sensitive. Is that the idea is understanding where you're at in your life. Being the truthful version of who you want to be is the best, healthiest way to approach any dating scenario. So anything I do coach, anything I do talk about is not easy to do. But you're watching this for a reason. You're intrigued for this reason. You're looking for improvement. You're looking for guidance. You're looking for coaching. You're looking for direction because you ultimately believe in love. And that's the most beautiful thing is I love about what you guys all represent. You guys believe in something. You guys still fight for something. And that's honestly what us men can learn a lot from you women out there about that. That strength, that admiration, that courageous fire to always believe in love. So as much as I know it's a very touchy subject, I always like to have a little more of a positive spin slash little playfulness to understand that just because the topic is serious, which I totally respect, doesn't mean we have to be dramatic about everything. Because I understand the situation is dramatic. I've been broken up, I've been heartbroken, I've been cheated on, I've been all the above. So I've lived and learned to understand who I am today. But the more I got to know who I was, the better my relationship was to who it is today. So that being said, today we're going to talk about behaviors that scare men off. We're going to go over a good handful of different behaviors. But before we get started, if you're interested in this topic or have any more questions and you need some more further assistance, check out coachingwithundress.com. I'll be more than happy to help out with an individual private session through Zoom, phone, or email. All right, here we go. Before we get into number one, let's really think about behaviors that scare off men. Well, we all naturally have behaviors that scare off anyone and everyone, right? But the underlying meaning behind all that is to be the most, again, honest version of who you are and keep things in balance, keep things in moderation. So number one, playing games. Playing games. And I know what you're saying. There's a lot of love coaches out there. I've heard from other clients here and there, but Coach Andres, I love your style because it's very holistic. It's very deep. It's very spiritual. A lot of other coaches like to play games and like try to do that manipulation to get that man's attention. That doesn't really last. You don't want to convince anyone to be with you. You don't need to sell yourself or lower yourself to get someone else's attention. I don't care how attractive that man is. I don't care how successful I don't care if he checks up every box. Where's your value? Why didn't you believe in yourself, right? So when you play games, you're basically portraying inconsistent behavior, inconsistent communication to pretty much kind of not emasculate, I'd say more of covering a mask of your true insecurities, which we all have. Guilty as charged, but you have to own them. So playing games by being on and off emotionally really scares off the man because that shows you're emotionally unstable. You're emotionally unavailable. You need to put them through this roller coaster, through this ride of ups and downs. The highs are high, the lows are low, because you feel like that's what works. You feel like that's what gets a man's attention. Wrong. Wrong. That gets a boy's attention. And the boy is going to do the same thing to you. And it's going to become a very immature, toxic relationship. So the idea is you always want to bring the best out of someone else when you're looking for love, when you're looking for something intimate. But the first thing you got to do is project yourself as the best version of yourself. So playing games doesn't really match with some level of confidence of who you want to be. Don't play games. Number two. But before we go into number two, if you happen to like what number one is and you want to hear the rest of them, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscription so we make sure you're notified, make sure you are part of this community to know that I'm here to help. And anything you need, I'm here to help. So again, leave any comments, suggestions, any recommendations. I love reading them all and I love responding to them all personally. So number two, playing games is number one. Number two, not playing too hard to get. So I say playing too hard to get. Play hard to get. as in know your value. Be available, but not always available. But when you play a little too hard to get without playing games, so you're being consistent, you're being genuine, you're being honest and respectful as a person, as an adult, as a mature, healthy person, don't be too available. Play hard to get, not playing too hard to get. Because otherwise he's going to be scared off thinking he's just another option. These are all tips and tools to obviously apply towards a man you have a strong interest in. If it's something just casual and something basically towards your roster of men, then who cares what you do? Who cares what you say? Because your intentions aren't trying to get serious. But if it is towards someone who you see a lot of potential, you see a lot of great green flags, play hard to get, don't play too hard to get. You know what I'm saying? Keep that carrot dangling around in front of that horse. Give a little, take a little. Understand page by page. So, give them by a little bit of balance, a little bit of moderation of who you are. And that's, again, avoiding playing games. So you're being consistent with who you are. And then while you're consistent with who you are, give him a little bit, taste little samples, but not all so much. Give him enough to keep him around, basically. Number 3. It's interesting because we've all done it, I've done it, and it's a very natural thing. When you're in that dating stages phase of you getting to know each other and everything's awesome, everything's great, he doesn't say anything wrong, we have a connection, coach. We just talked all night, Coach Andres. He's amazing. He smells amazing. Beautiful, great, awesome, as you should, as he should, as you should. Present yourself in the best way possible. But number 3 is the false pedestal. The false pedestal. As in, he's perfect. You accept him for like everything he might not be because you're assuming he's just perfect. You don't really see who he is truly. You're blinded by something else. You're possibly infatuated, which we've all been there myself, trust me. But the idea is when you have this false pedestal, you're really not understanding who he is. You're putting this, one of my clients said this the other day, and I've noticed with a lot of women, they invent things in their head or they basically create some scenarios of the future as soon as they see the first few green flags. They're already 6 months in. And I'm like, stay here, stay present. Let's see how he gets to that pedestal step by step. Let him earn each way. When you learn each way of how he gets to that pedestal, you'll see in yourself and in your body language and your energy less pressure. Because if you're already going to have this false pedestal image or portrayal of who he is, you basically have expectations up. I mean, high expectations, and that's not going to last. That's not sustainable. You're almost self-sabotaging yourself for that. You don't want to do that. You want to almost like, what's it, John Legend says, your imperfections are perfect. When he sings that song about Christy Teigen and all that. It's true. So embrace who he is for who he really is, not who you think he is. Now, again, most beginning parts, everyone's perfect, but don't assume that and put him on the pedestal. Let him kind of develop to get there. Let him earn it as much as you'd want him to make you kind of earn it in a way. Again, these are mature ways to approach a relationship, not the young, immature, insecure ways, which kind of leads me to number 4, the entitlement. So that's more of the immature, insecure, childish kind of relationships where you're entitled to, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve this, I don't change, I don't say anything wrong, I'm perfect, everything's going on. Let's go. Because I look hot, she looks amazing, so she gets everything. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You can be as confident as you want to be, which I think is beautiful, it's sexy, but conceited, egotistical, entitled, that doesn't work. It's a childish thing. You're masking something else. We don't know what, and you probably don't want to show it, which I totally understand. And again, I respect that. But if there's something you're kind of getting your own way, and you still don't even know how to direct it or even how to acknowledge it, let's talk. Let's set up a session so we can have a open discussion about it. Because you don't want to continue doing the same thing and getting the same result when you're not happy about something. If you want, I've said this in the past, if you want different results, it requires different actions. You are entitled to certain things, as in basically knowing, I always say entitled towards making sure you know your strong values. your strong morals, your strong standards, about that. Those aren't, you don't compromise with those. But outside of those core things, you shouldn't be entitled to anything. You need to be more curious, less judgmental. See, the thing about entitlement, I like to add on to this, is more of, as a man, I'm an old school man, old soul, young spirit. Um, it's us men naturally want to provide. We do. We naturally want to provide. In any way, big or small, we want to provide. So when a woman is expecting that all the time because she's entitled, that kills the attraction. That becomes unattractive. And the idea is you want to show a little more gratitude, a little more humility, a little more presence, a little more appreciation towards what's going on. Because if you keep on getting guys who just keep on making you feel and satisfy that entitlement over and over and over, and you just basically keep on getting what you want, but not necessarily being who you are, you're kind of in a fake relationship. You're in a pretend relationship. And that's not right. That's not healthy. You're going to become in this low level of toxic, dysfunctional way of love, and that's not sustainable. So again, humility and gratitude goes a long way if you're trying to figure out, how do I get out of this entitlement stage? How do I basically not keep on projecting this entitlement because I got hurt last time, which we've all been there. I've been there. But don't carry that on to the next opportunity feeling entitled. You could still be in pain. You could still be healing, but understand where you're at in life, because bringing an immature, a unhealthy mindset of being entitled doesn't give you the fair chance of looking for love. And that's what we're looking for. Number 5. So number 5 is emasculating behavior, right? It's interesting because actually I'm working on a project about how to balance feminine and masculine energy. And nowadays at 2021, we see more feminine men than ever and more masculine women than ever. And I think there's always a beautiful balance of both, because we're all what? Spirits. We're all souls. We're all human beings. So the more you understand who you are, if you're an alpha woman, or if he's a beta man, or if you're a masculine woman and he's a feminine woman, understand that dynamic. But one of too much of anything is never good for the relationship. So when you emasculate a man, you are really, oh man, you're kind of expressing that you don't believe in him. You don't believe in him. So if you want a boy toy, or if you want someone just to basically a servant to always kind of say yes to you like a yes man, then go do that. Go do that. It's fine. I'm not here to judge. That's completely understandable. But if you think you're going to be fulfilled and find that purpose of true love in that, I'm not sure that really works out on that. So when you understand you're emasculating a man and his behavior, you're basically saying you don't believe in him. And don't you want to believe in the man that you're with? Because if you're such a strong-minded, alpha, masculine, successful, independent, beautiful woman, don't you want that man to emulate and basically represent the same version of you as the male version? And I always say it back in the days, when a man leads a woman with, walking up the street, they used to walk from behind just because of a security safe purpose-wise. Nowadays, it's side to side. We're side to side, and that's what I love in a sense, a strong, independent woman, but understands that she believes in me because I believe in her. So, number 6. Sorry, I was struggling with that one right there. Got caught up in the whole her kind of thing. Yeah. But before I go into the last final one, this is actually interesting because it all goes and correlates with my new product, How to Love a Man. And this has a huge chapter in that. And it's more about a self-reflection, a little more self-awareness of who you are. So check out coachingwithundress.com. Check out How to Love a Man. It's a good 90 audio project that I'm really excited about, to be honest. I'm really curious what you all think about. So number 6, behaviors that scare men off. Relationship pressure. Pressure. We all know relationship is the goal, but the pressure scares men off because that shows, again, that you are forcing something, you are rushing something, kind of almost in a way to get away from something else. If it's a past relationship, or if it's a traumatized situation, or if it's insecurity that's masked, it's basically an unhealed wound in a way, or just the level you're just trying to use the man because you don't want to be alone. You're very codependent, which again, I totally respect. There's a lot of codependent people in the world, but you want to make sure and you want to know who you are before you just force something to fill a void, to fill that role, to fill that boyfriend title. It's better to be alone than be with someone wrong, right? So when you're forced in a relationship, you're kind of forcing yourself to like him before you even get to know him. You're forcing yourself to like him before you even let him get to know you, because it's about the boyfriend. It's about the title. It's about the status. It's about changing my Facebook stuff. It's about our anniversaries. It's about I'm the best girlfriend, but I don't even know who I am as a person. Don't worry about forcing that relationship. Focus on the connection. I always say, focus on the connection, the commitment will follow. The more present you are, and then the more everything we mentioned before, trust me, that shows the most beautiful, attractive version of who you are. That's self-confidence. That's high self-esteem. That keeps your value up. That keeps your attractiveness up. That keeps your sex appeal up. Don't force the relationship. Let that develop on its own. And you'll know from his behavior, which I've talked about in other videos, the consistency on his end. Does his words match his actions? I always say to my clients, the two things you need checked off in the very beginning: character, who is he, what is he about, and the consistency of that. That's where you want to make sure you get to know a little more of, as well as yourself. So don't force the relationship. That being said, I just want to say thank you again for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, come on, check out coachingwithundress.com. It's always a pleasure to hear from you all. Thank you for all the support. Honestly, you guys all motivate me to continue not only doing what I love, but become a better man and a better coach. Make sure you subscribe so you'll get part 2 coming up as well. We got 3 new exciting things, as well as an announcement of my very first product. I can't wait to share it with you all. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Again, Coaching with Undress. If you need anything, I'm here for you. See you soon.